Liberian people will get joy. We are one-time president. But on this birthday, I want to say to them that God will make sure that that mouth will be closed. I will defeat them more than 2018. Because I am the voice of the Liberian people and the Liberian people love me.
It is very important to generate a good attitude, a good heart as much as possible. And from this, indeed, happiness in both the short term and long term for both yourself and others will come. And always develop the attitude that there are more reasons why you should succeed than reasons why you should fail. Oh yes, have a positive mindset in everything you do. Like you listened to the program this morning. Always cultivate a positive mindset. Your attitude plays along. Oh yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Liberia. It's on the Monday, 20th February 2023, and it's great to be back on this radio. Oh yes, it got to be God. In all of our undertakings, it got to be God. Let us trust and believe in God, the creator of our one word. Oh yes, as we believe in ourselves to change things around, let's be positive. Believe in yourself as you move. It's on the Monday, folks. And it's great to be here again. We're here to serve you breakfast up to 10 o'clock. Too many things happening in Liberia that we need to talk about. There is this information from Brazil that about 35 people have died so far for the issue of mudslide. A sad day for Brazil that is in South. You know, just in this month, Turkey and Syria lost so many lives, leading to earthquakes in that part of the world. A famous footballer died in that earthquake, and his body was returned to his people. He's from Ghana. Oh yes, on yesterday his body arrived in Ghana. It was a sorrowful moment in the lives of Ghanaians and sports lovers around the world. Christians will say, may your soul rest in peace. And another information from Brazil again is coming up. About 36 people have died, and there are information that more deaths, as by the state governor, more deaths might recall occurred as a result of the severity of the entire thing we're talking about flooding and landslides in the coastal areas of Brazil, killing at least 36 people and displaying hundreds of others. So it is a sad day in Brazil. But let me just welcome my colleague, Harris. Good morning. Welcome. My name is April and Parker, folks. Harris Wade is here. Good morning, Harris. How are you?
Good morning, Paco, and I'm doing great. I'm doing pretty well this morning. It takes the grace of God to be alive this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things happen across the world. From one era to another, every day you wake up to the news, you wake up to the internet, you see information about people dying. I know unexpectedly, if I may say, and so. To be alive every minute, we have to say thanks. We have to give thanks to God to be alive to see another day. Yep, so it's good. It's good to be here this morning, and I'm happy that I have the gift of life, and I'm strong. And like every one of you listening to us this morning, we give God thanks to be alive and always follow the voice of Liberia. It's good this morning.
Certainly, it's good to be here. Gabriel MC Parker, my guy, how you doing? You say I'm watching from Tottenberg, Borming County. Harris says Borming. Thanks to joining us, Parker. Gabriel, that's my guy. He's very good. I like his engagement. You know, the very first time I met him, he was like, "Hey," I didn't recognize him. He was the one. But prior to that, we've been talking, you know, on the social media. But it's great. Thanks for following us there from Bombing. Emmett Heimer, my guy. He says, "Good morning, Voice of Liberia. I'm monitoring live this morning from Cat City. Thanks for joining us, Emmett Heimer." Emmanuel S. Barber says, "Good morning." He watches from where? No name. Honorable George Watkins Jr. He says, "Good morning, Voice of Liberia, and a pleasant good morning to the peace-loving people of Riverside County, the land of supremacy. Thanks for the show. I'm following live from the headquarters of District 13 Redemption Council. Thanks for joining us. And those of you following us as well, all you need to do just indicate where you're following us from, and we will acknowledge you following this morning. It's great to be here. It pleases us being back on the radio to talk in the best interest of Liberia. We feel the best thing we can do is to contribute to our country in a positive manner. Too many things are happening. The bad ones, we need to speak to them to be corrected, yes, and the good ones, we speak to it that it can increase, because like that we can move Liberia. We can put Liberia up, then, you know, harming Liberia in a negative style, Harris.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, a dialogue to a democratic process is always a welcoming, right? It's good every time we dialogue on issues affecting us, whether positively or negatively, every time we discuss these issues. And I believe consistently we engage, right? We share our ideas towards the issues, how to resolve problems, and how to promote the good things happening in our country. The more we're going to have a common understanding, the more we grow. And so that's why we encourage you, the issue of violence. We say no against violence. When there are issues confronting you, that's why we have government is set up in a way to cut across. We have various entities, various institutions that are responsible to deal with issues differently. So no matter that situation you are confronted with as a community, as a group of people, the best way is to constructively engage. Sometimes you may want to argue that these engagements or those engagements might be, it take long before you deliver, before or you get the result you need. Mm-hmm. But it is always advisable that you continue to engage, right? There will come a time that people listen to you. Today you want to speak of those that brought change to the continent. You want to speak of the Nelson Mandela. You want to speak of the Martin Luther King. You want to speak of the Muhammad Gandhi. You just go and name the rest of those names you are familiarized with. But the thing you fail to understand that these are individuals that engage the process constructively. Mm-hmm. These are individuals that strive, they stood for what they wanted without violence, but they ensured that the right things were done. So if you want to reflect these people in our current dispensation, you also want to take into consideration the ways in which they went about carry on their advocacies, right? These advocacies were done in the best way, constructively. Mm-hmm. They engage. There are times where those in authority refuse to listen to them. I want to believe that they use their persuasive means They use the people continuously you engage and continue to remind people of the lives they are confronted with. And with that, we can have a solution to our problems. So it's always
Certainly, it's always good. Pastor Beno, say I'm watching from Nizo, right? Like, thanks for joining us. Pastor says I'm Pastor Beno, watching for Nizo, right? Like, doorway, Bedon TQ. Doorway. Thanks for joining us and the rest of the folks following us via the radio and our viewers on the television. It's great to be here. Too many things to talk about. On Friday, we received this information that about 1,500 metric tons of Japanese rice arrived in Liberia. Oh yes, it is intended to help Liberia. This is as a result of a plea to the Japanese government sometimes in 2021. Yes, where they pleaded for aid, and I'm told, but we just hope to give you the release so far, linking that breast. Former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Lema Bowie inspired South Sudan, as the women for that country look up to the president, the former president, or look up to Liberia for direction in terms of building the capacity of women in that African country. So it sets us apart as a country with experience producing the first female president in Africa. Most of the times people want to go in, engagements with you, like you were talking about the process of engagement, sometimes political dialogues and the rest of it. But I think it's a good thing that we're going to give you the rundown of that development, hopefully, on the show. But let's acquaint you with activities we will be looking at this morning before we can give you our housekeeping very shortly on some of the issues that are making news in Liberia. The guys from Prince Johnson Party, NDR, right? The NDR has disclosed that following the too many misunderstandings between President George Weah and their political leader, they said, President Weah formed the man and wanted to have a conversation with Prince Johnson. Probably that could be a dialogue, because in such a situation, dialogue is the way forward. We couldn't afford to see two statesmen, most especially from the Senate and the executive wing, occupying the highest office, using the pulpit to preach their political message in the wrong direction. And then I'm from the point where I listened to I don't know whether Harris went to church on yesterday, but I listened to the pastor, Pastor Kokwe, who preached the Girls Intervention Ministries, when he said, where are those who are to be praying for Liberia? Where are they? When the entire thing has been compromised, then you see people, pastors, prophets, bishops, who are to be praying for Liberia as we anticipate a peaceful elections in Liberia. They are the ones being bought, allegedly, he said, being bought. Sometimes you see them politically, they're taking side. They are the ones ordaining people and say, you've already won the process. Instead of them praying for Liberia, declaring that Liberia will have a peaceful elections, they are the same people endorsing candidates around, endorsing, following the people who are the political actors who don't mean well for Liberia. They are the same people following them. What becomes of the Christian community? What is the role of the Christian community when you see people who are going to church, who want to listen to God's words, And then because they feel they're in charge, like the president would do, stay on his pulpit and preach and say Prince Johnson is a killer. And then Prince Johnson too will go on the other side and say the man is a killer. And then those who considered who's supposed to be declaring that Liberia will have a peaceful election, who's supposed to be praying are the same people taking side in the church.
It also reminds me of during the 66 Armed Forces Day Symposium, when the chief imam of Liberia, Ali Krahi, wanted to use that same situation and said that one of the reasons why you see the independent voice of the Interreligious Council of Liberia that constitutes both the Muslims and the Christian community has been compromised is because of the lack of funding towards that process. And he wanted to justify that the reasons you find churches, you find religious leaders these days were bent on pledging our allegiance to political institutions, to politicians, is because the churches, the Interreligious Council of Liberia, in totality is being underfunded. So you found out that aside from maybe donors coming in,
and then bring on the funds.
yeah, that's exactly what he said. And so he says aside from
Liberia,
aside from surviving donors funding, like the Interreligious Council, like the Interreligious Council, the Liberia Council of Churches, the National Muslim Council of Liberia, these are individuals, according to him, the institutions should have been funded by national government. They should be receiving subsidies from national government to fund their operations. So he said with that, they're going to build a body that will supervise, we have that supervisory power across all of these faith-based churches and what have you, and mosques, and ensure that they remain independent. Then it makes me to wonder that the Bible tells us to know those that preach the word will live by the word. And sometimes I'm thinking, why is it that pastors, church leaders have diverted from what they should be preaching against, and preaching in favor of those politicians, those political actors, and they go on the extra mile and declaring that put an entire congregation to support a political individual, or a political figure, only because of what they get in return.
But I think the issue of funding shouldn't be justification. There are too many things that happen around the country, most especially from the religious end. Sometimes you see them, they're not speaking to. I think the process, it just needs a little bit of a break, Harris, where the religious community will say that understand that the issue of politics in Liberia. One would say, yes, the issue of funding, is it that it has manipulated the system that the people use funding to get them on board, and they are forgetting their role in society, what they're supposed to be doing?
The thing about it, sometimes when the issue of funding comes out, I want to reason, is that isn't that all of those churches in Liberia or mosques will be funded, right? But if you have those organizations responsible to supervise and ensure that those churches and the mosques are in the right order and are preaching the word, when they are funded, it helps them to fully operate and cut across, to monitor all of those things.
It will still be a problem, Harris.
So, for instance, the way you have the Interreligious Council. Today, when someone asks you where is the Interreligious Council Liberia office is a problem. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder even whether they have an office. And so it will be an organization that will be run from hotels to hotels. Like for instance, the day they have a meeting, Interreligious Council will go to one boulevard or go this side or go that side and just have, and that's how they've been run. So when they are funded, they be a body constitute an independent body. The wearing.
But they on the mass in the system again, when you see maybe a government, a sitting government sponsoring them, and at a certain point in time, you see them like they receiving full support from government, maybe through the budget or whatsoever the case may be. Sometimes again, it will be very difficult to speak against the very government that supported them.
The thing
but
about
have you not seen
the thing
that?
about it could be almost like the way you have the LACC, right? the LCC is being funded by national government, but it serves as an
No,
independent.
it is an act that created. It is an act that created.
So that's it.
So that act created the Liberia Council of Churches.
I haven't
No.
across that, right? but the thing about it, they will be just as the same way. The LCC, in spite of the fact that they have been funded by national government, they are that integrity body. So the Liberia Council of Churches, the National Muslim Council, Liberia Interreligious Council will be an integrity body. They will stay with that independent voice. But as we speak,
okay, so no money, so that's why so because of no money, that's why Prince Johnson can use a pulpit and say President we are that because no money President we are can say Prince Johnson a killer.
Imagine what happened. They may use his pulpit to denigrate people, and at the end, the Council of Churches will go there and build to him. We'll go and
say, my man, don't I beg you.
You know, what's that? When you have the power to make sure and regulate the man so that he do the right thing, but instead you will be begging the man because these are things.
Okay. So at coming up very shortly, we'll look at that conversation. We don't want to know what is within that conversation, or even the phone calls, all the meeting that was to be held between President Mr. Weah, and Mr. Johnson. We don't want to know the outcome of that meeting, but the guy says certain things that we will definitely look at this morning, and that's why we Liberians we need to be very careful as it relates to how we support political artists, political figures in Liberia, in our country ahead of these elections. You know, in these elections, how critical we should be, before we can take side or on the issue of just defending somebody to the letter. You feel like, yes, your life is tied to this person, and you become so aggressive and you don't know how to approach the issues. The revelation from Prince Johnson's MDR is a clear manifestation of how Liberians, most especially those in these politic things, need to be more careful. Okay, so over the weekend, that was on Friday. This was on Friday or Thursday? Was it on Friday? Yes. The rest of the two universities.
Yeah, was on Friday. And,
yes.
And thankfully you brought that. You brought that out as well. I over the weekend on Saturday, I had a conversation with the National Commission on Higher Education Board, Dr. Wonkoe, and he re-emphasized on that. And what was more interesting to me is that he supported the campaigners for academic crimes.
Yeah, so that's his Mountain College.
Yeah, he endorsed their work they are doing. The work they are doing. And that of which he said the commissioner have stood against firmly. And currently as they speak, they are across the 15 counties supervising, taking one surprise visit to these universities. And sometimes when they meet with the president of the institution, they ask you to submit your credentials.
The credentials, yeah.
Provide the valid, they go through them, and when you are qualified, they check you and they move on. And that's important. But one of the things that are actually someone want to wonder, why is it that people, you don't have this thing and you say you have it? Is it because of the job? Is it because you want to get it? I
think this is kind of strange to Liberia. If not, as per this current generation, I'm seeing to be strange. This is the thing, Harris. The quest for education has increased to a larger extent that young people are leaving from here, going other parts of the world, like Liberians left from here, or Liberians are leaving from here on a daily basis, going places like China and India, Rwanda for studies and the rest of it. So the thing is, those who are having these degrees and the rest of it, like one would say the doctorate degree, sometimes it has been misplaced. Like one of the points, once you have a degree in divinity and you see yourself in a classroom controlling the education sector, a higher education, it undermines the essence of you being truthful to the extent that you shouldn't occupy such a position like a president for the college, like someone get an honorary degree, and you say the president is a president for a whole university that should be nurturing people. So this thing is kind of strange to Liberia. So let's face in the reality, right? Sometimes these people will sit for the lessons, right? They will be taught. But again, the internet has made it very simple to know the difference between something that is fake and that is real. Before, in short, people would just attend school and will not validate, right? Will not go further to do a background check, looking at the legitimacy of that particular university. So at the end of the day, only because you want to acquire your master's, like you want to get your .3 and the rest of it, you just go to school. And at the end result, 5 years, 10 years, when you shall have graduated, the guy, young breed, young minds will come out and do a follow-up on some of these universities, looking at the legitimacy, whether yes, these universities are accredited to offer such degree in some areas. Sometimes some of these universities or some of these colleges are only there, like for example, when the colleges around the country were first established, right? Like with the exception of Harvard College being a full degree granting institution, the Grand Bassa Community College first started as a college that offers AA. Enterprise, they're still offering AA, right? So what is Lofa Community College, the Nima Community College, they were all colleges that were offering AA. But because of the demand of education, they decided to offer a full degree. Now, this is what happens, right? When a man, for example now, a man who graduated at the time the college were offering AA, and at the end result he got an AA, and he doesn't want to upgrade his status, like go back and get your BSc. Maybe you're going to spend 2 years, you spend the first 2 years, 2 years ago to go back, and at the end result you don't want to go back. You update your status saying you are a, maybe like now where the people are putting out BSc and the rest of it, then you go there, you say you are a BSc student or you got a BSc student, and at the end result they go and do a follow-up that let's check Harris's credentials as to whether he's actually a BSc student like he has claimed, right? And then they do the data check, and then Harris graduated 2003, and at the time that college 2003 was not offering, or BSc was offering AA. So like that, it turned the credentials to be fake. So obviously, when you are in certain position, they will tell you say this. But this is the thing: people sometimes they go into online studies, and at the end results, they just want to see themselves. They don't validate. They don't go further to check to know how legit that particular program is. They go. So once you go there, you graduate, you say, oh, you got your paper, and at the end result, after 3, 4, 5 years, you finish hustling on that papers, and then someone tells you that the particular thing is fake with evidence, too many evidences and the rest of it, then you leave yourself to wonder. Right?
It also validates exactly what you're saying. The thing about it, like what you mentioned, exactly that's how it plays out. But the argument has been that, for instance, the case you said, right? If X university at the time wasn't offering a full BSc, or offering an AA associate degree at the time you were a student of that institution, I think it is prudent upon you to mention that I was a student of this institution, right? But I graduated with this degree, where perhaps it could be an associate degree. Now, what has been happening over time is that the person will come out and say, I was a student of this institution and I graduated with a BSc, even if they knew that the studies they went to at that institution was in a BSc level. So you find out people will say they call themselves PhD holders, they call themselves master degree holders, right? Where in essence, the study they went to at that institution was now offering masters to them. Where into all of the times they spent at that institution, their studies now called them to be a master degree. Another part of it is that some of them, like you spoke of the online stuff and things, that's one of the areas most Liberians have been carried away. Now the internet is diverse. The internet provides a way where you can sit from home and still go to school. So online studies all around the world is welcoming, that of which we can discredit. But before taking on an online study with any institution, number one, you must seek to understand the credibility of that institution, whether that institution is credible, whether that institution is reliable, whether it is true, it is in existence. That's one thing. Because most Liberians have been victim of these things is that at the end, when you when you do your research on these institutions they were mentioned, some of them are in existence.
But
right? Like for instance, somebody will say Atlanta International University, AIU.
Yes.
I would say this other university. Because everyone is, sometimes you will pay money, you know, every time you go, you don't even see your classmates. Sometimes what happens, you only see one person in front of you. That's what can happen. Or almost like a podcast, the person in front of you, or sometimes they send you a lesson just through your email, 24/7. That's how it's been done. At the end of the day, they say you one email say you already graduate, you get degree. You want to use that as something you will have to take over or something. And at the end, when people do research on these things, you are lost.
And kudos to Mountain. Mountain is doing a great job. Like I said, this is cringe in our current generation. People thinking that is a witch hunt. No, the issue of credentials check, it is important to the existence of Liberia. Too many, academic flossaries in our country, and at the end result, that has been done. I can remember sometimes in last year, too many people were like confused in Sierra Leone when our international correspondent John Wayfield reported that the credential audit was ongoing in Sierra Leone, and people in key positions who do not have the required degree or credentials were being taken off their positions. And it is important. We need to encourage that in Liberia. But in the case of the AMEU president and the AMEZU and the rest of it, these people, not that they don't have the requisite credentials, but they were being placed there. They are the faith-based institutions. So sometimes you see the churches coming out and making recommendations, this person, but they do not have a doctorate degree, honorary doctorate degree they have. So once you have honorary doctorate degree, you cannot occupy such a position. It was the reason. It was the reason why they have to step down. But other institutions like Mountain visited Grange there. The man doesn't have Maryland. The man doesn't have. He said he has.
And also, Parkour, the commissioner is warning that all of those that have been victim of this situation, they should understand that there is in no way do we need to hunt them, but to strengthen the education system. And you will be very fair of me that you don't want a master's. You want to head an institution that is offering masters.
Yeah, that's a problem.
All fairness, let be real here, right? Now, what are we understanding? You don't want a PhD. You want to head an institution that's offering PhD, right? That's offering master's degree. So that's the problem, and that's why the commissioner is. I'm saying the commission is.
I think they need to be more robust.
But like you said, and that's one of the things I mentioned to him, that how do you intend to make sure this is effective and not just something you want to do just a few months and just get hold of it. That you're going to do it times of that number, and at the end of it, it will boil down to what? Budgetary.
Yeah, so they need to be more robust. There are some inner thing within the circle of that commission that they need to work on too as well. They have got their own problems as well, and but I think this exercise is healthy. And you made mention of the AIU, Harris. I can remember when I was still in high school. Once I just clicked on their website, they send me information, send me email, and they say you've been admitted into university. Can you imagine that someone who is still in high school being admitted into university? And after a week, they got called. The call
and that's the most interesting thing.
How much are you think you're working for, and how well can you pay your fees, and the rest of it? I was like, Are you kidding? Well, I haven't even gone through any other zoning submission of documents, nothing. Then you just calling somebody and say, I can pay a school fee. After some time, you see yourself out with a degree.
And the most interesting thing about it, the guys had tactics. That sometimes when you go to get something called, I think alumni story, right? Something on the website.
Somebody,
That's a play that carry most people. People
giving testimonies.
I don't know whether our children and their spouse they can use.
Hey,
we need to be very
Liberia,
careful in that area.
Liberia,
That's why I reach a point, even every organization I want to work with, I research you. You know, I do follow up. At times, even if I see someone on that internet that you referencing, I strive as much as possible to get to that person. I want to validate. I want to understand. I want to get all of the necessary information as to what the people are saying, right? What the people are saying is true or not. So you cannot come out and someone will just call you and say you want to accept a scholarship, you need to do this, get admitted to this university, to that university, and a whole lot, and you accept, and at the end time you be victim of it. So the National Commission on Higher Education says it stands firmly on that. I think they put a press release some 2-3 days ago relative to that the commission will remain vocal and will ensure that these things are done. And so, like we said, we hope and pray that this is not something that will end just today, but they will continue to do it and ensure that those who occupy these positions will have the credible credentials as they place it. And together we can help build our education sector.
Okay, together we can build the education sector of Liberia. Okay, so before we get to our main talking point this morning, this is just a reminder to the Liberia National Police and the legislature. Like we said, the Thursday of last week, we petitioned the Liberia National Police and the legislature following threats on the life of our CEO, Mr. Sekou V. Sharif. And we'll continue to say, fellow Liberians, that this particular thing, it is not about Sekou, it is not about us, it is about you, Liberians, the ordinary people who are working in various workplaces where you've been marginalized, you've been looked down upon only because you have nobody to speak for you. People take advantage, and at the end result, they insult you, they assault you because they feel like you're doing a piece of job. They feel you are not protected. And they use a very system that's supposed to protect you against you who voted them. The work of the people we elect is to serve. Back in the days or yesteryears, the king used to walk to the priest. But in Liberia, it's on the contrary. The priest are now walking to the king. What runs to mind when the king is supposed to walk to the priest? And then seeing it on the other side, the priest walking now to the king. In Bible days, those of you who followed the story of David and Nathan, it was framed when he said, when Nathan narrated that story. During those days, the messengers, no matter how close you are or powerful you are, they were always willing to deliver the right message in the interest of the people. In Liberia, it's on the contrary. So it is the responsibility of the Liberia National Police to step in to investigate Ali. Like we said, it is not about Sekou. It is not about us. We vulnerable. We can come and say the things we say. Sometimes people don't like us for the things we say. But we say them because we want for Liberia to be better. We say them because we can't continue to see us suppressing this one country. We have taken a lot from this country and in return nothing. So those in authority need to understand that it is not just about them in authority that they can do anything they want to do, forgetting the collective interest of the ordinary people and certifying their cost. Certifying their cost. The lawmakers are represented. The representative that received the petition,
That's Gopu Kagon.
Gopun Kagon, assured us Liberians, the Liberians that turned out on Thursday of last week, that you was going to make sure that our petition surface or our communication to that august body surface on the floor on tomorrow. Tomorrow is what?
And tomorrow is Tuesday, and that's why we are hoping to sit on tomorrow. That we hope our legislative reporter will bring up to speed with that development tomorrow. And Parker, like you mentioned, this is sometimes when you raise this thing, people want to think it's only about Seku, but it cut across that's just been Seku. Like you listen to part of the petitioners that came out, right? There was a guy that called Mohammed, I think Mohammed something. I'm trying to get his name. He shared his story of similarly what is happening with Sekou in terms of threat. For he was threatened, he was dismissed, and even he was assaulted by a Lebanese businessman as well. So it tells you that Liberians in their own country are living at the mercy of God. It tells you that Liberians in their own country don't have a voice. It tells you that Liberians in their own country, a foreign national will come and threaten, and sometimes these threats are executed, and nothing comes out of it. So that's why when it's time for us to speak, we speak on these issues. So we are calling on those in authorities, precisely the legislature and the Liberia National Police that received our petition separately. You see, the thing about this thing is more of importance because it concerns the lives of Liberians. I said Liberians because I'm not saying Sekou in this. I'm saying Sekou will be one of the main Liberians that have suffered victim of these circumstances. And it continue to happen. So when these things happen and nothing is being done, the foreign nationals feel that they don't want own Liberia. They don't want have Liberia. And these things come out. Like the example you said, the priest, the king used to go to the priest. And the priest will solve the king problem. These days, the priest will go to the king, and the king with an expectation that the problem will be solved. And in most instances, the king will promise and nothing is being done. It plays out with the current happening. The people, those are in authorities, will come to us during election time and what have you, and we will elect them. We will solve their problem. In return, we the citizens, when we go to them, telling them that this is what is being happening to us, this is what is happening to us, they will give us assurance and nothing will be done about it. But we want to challenge the legislature. We want to challenge the Liberia National Police. You have received our petition. Gopu Kagon was the chairman, claims and petition as a legislature. It showed us that this Tuesday it will be on the floor of deliberation. We are watching.
Yeah,
we are
with
watching.
eagle eyes.
We are watching. The Liberia National Police, Commissioner Prince received. He, as a matter of fact, he won himself as an outstanding commissioner of the Liberia National Police. The guy that received our petition. So it's a test of the award he just won.
How sincere you are.
How sincere you are. And how you are executing your function. Now, the failure the failure of acting on that petition, trust me, the war will no longer be between we and Ali now. We will go to you. Because had he have said, we should petition you guys, and nothing will come out of it, because he has all what it takes to subdue and subject you guys to his pocket. We challenged him on that. We said it's that because we're still confident, we're still hoping that we'll have people in government, we'll have people we'll have the relevant authorities that will stand and ensure the right things is being done in this country. That's why we challenged Hali and take the petition to you guys. Now, the failure for you to act on it, we won't be looking at Hali anymore. We'll go.
No, but it will be like John Wetty. John Wetty. So look, this is serious, fellow Liberians. This is serious, and we need to be very serious. Look, if nothing comes out of this, we've petitioned the Liberia National Police. We've petitioned the legislature, most especially the House of Representatives, to act appropriately. And if nothing is done, we will go to court. Oh yes, we will go to court. So, since speaking in the interest of the very government, there are people in the system who are stealing from government. This is a whole syndicate. People don't understand this entire thing, and they're misinterpreting this entire thing. Look, it undermines the very government commitment to generating tax. Every time we're talking about Liberia is generating revenue, domestic revenue, and the rest of it, the budgeting we can be talking about. These are all of the things that can pull together, and at the end result, we got tax and other things. People who's supposed to be paying, the requisite tax and the rest of it, they steal from government, and at the end result, when you talk about it, and someone sits somewhere because he or she feels that they have some level of connections in the space of our country, so they use that as an advantage to insult, assault, and threaten people who mean well for this country. We're not stopping there. This is just a wake-up call. It's a reminder. It is a reminder to the legislature. You promised that Tuesday on tomorrow, which is on tomorrow, our communication will surface on the floor. We don't want to say anything contrary to what we already believe or what we now hold at a certain point. We want you to do the real thing. And the real thing is invite Ali for investigation. Why he had to threaten Seku's life. It is not about Seku, like we continue to say. It is about you, the ordinary people. Come to think of it. There are people who are working in the employ of these Lebanese and Indians and the rest of it. But on a daily basis, Liberians are being insulted. They are left to do the ordinary jobs. The store-bought jobs, they are left to do it. Where you see that brothers and sisters come in this country, and at the end result, they do the jobs that Liberians are supposed to be doing. It is happening because the people who are to protect you are no longer protecting you. Someone who's supposed to protect you becomes your oppressor. Huh? The Redeemer becomes your oppressor. What do you see? And what do you hope to achieve in the next years? When it is at this level and nothing is being done, and people thinking that yes, because it is about Seku, so nothing should happen. No. It is about Liberia. It's not about Seku. It is about Liberia. What Seku was investigating or has been investigating, it is not for his own personal interest or to come and take money or wanted money to come and put it in voice of Liberia. No. It is not about Seku taking money to come and pay workers here at Voice of Liberia. No. Seku said that goods came in country, and the right money that's supposed to be paid for that goods as per the agreement or as per the law set of the business law, the LRA and the rest of it, it was not the money the guy paid. So he just extended his investigative, skill and the rest of it to the guys to see how best they can authenticate or tell us as to whether to just get that side of the story. And at the end result, in getting the side, it turned out to one Ali because he feels like he has gotten enough on Liberia, so he can just say anything at the end of the day. Nothing happens. This one, If you, Ali, have marginalized people in this country and it has gone unnoticed, this time around, it will not go unnoticed. We trust the legislature to do the honorable thing. To do the honorable thing. Call the Liberia National Police, the Inspector General. What has been his role since we communicated with them, prior to petitioning them? What has been the Liberia National Police role in this matter? It is about Liberia. A life of another Liberian has been threatened, and people see it as being political. People see it as being not essential because it is not in their interest. We need to step our game up. If we cannot protect our own citizens, who will we protect? Also, we'll continue to show love to foreigners, aliens in our country, to take the best part of Liberia. And at the end result, we'll sit here and wonder how it happened. We need to stand up. And this is just a reminder, a wake-up call to the legislature. As per the promise, we're looking up to you, oh yes, to do the honorable thing by coming up in that matter. So, fellow Liberians, before we go to the telephone line, the opposition movement for democracy and reconstruction, the party of Senator Prince Johnson, informed us yesterday that the MDR rejected a called meeting with President Weah. And the National Vice Chair, I was listening to you this morning on the news, for Press and Public Affairs, Kelvin Matali, said the party will reject any attempt by President Weah to meet with its political leader, Senator Johnson. And we've been told that the meeting should have been held between the president and the political leader, Senator Prince Johnson, which was on yesterday. So, according to him, Harris, when the meeting was planned, Senator Prince Johnson had informed his MDR officials that, hey, President Weah wants to meet with me. He said that, what is your take? But is Prince Johnson himself is to be trusted on this matter? That's the question. Is Senator Prince Johnson is to be trusted on this matter? Many things runs to mind, Harris, when these things come out in the political space of our country. And that's why Liberians need to be more careful. Liberians need to be more careful the way in which they preach or defend political figures in our country. Because if you look at the way in which things are being run, structured in our country, it leaves us, or it places us in the position to wonder how Liberia as a country in Africa was actually funded, or how it came to be. This is a country that a young man was just looking your face and insult you for another person. Because the person he believes in is having a rough ride just for a time, for some seconds, with somebody on the opposite side. So the man will go head to insult another person, but they don't know what happens behind closed doors. So the MDR, I don't know how legitimate is this, but Harris, I think you had a conversation with...
Yeah, I reached out to Matadi and asked him to actually appear on the show this morning. And he gave a lot of excuses and what have you. But there are a few things I want Liberians to take into consideration. That if we begin to hold political actors in this country as per what they say and things they say they won't do or they will do, and we serve it as the number one reason to which this person should be elected or should not be elected, I think some of the guys will start to work in that direction. Because you will find at one point in time, this film very men will come out and praise this person and say this and say a whole lot about this person. And in an intervening period, the same person will come out again and say X, Y, Z amount of things for the same person at a certain point in time they were praising. The MDR have said President Weah called their vision bearer, Senator Prince Johnson, and asked him to meet with Senator Prince Johnson in a closed-door meeting so that they could solve out, they could run out the raft between them. And part of that, Kevin Matali said Senator Prince Johnson had informed the MDR that this is what the president said I should do, I should meet with him. So it seems like it is a decision that he reached to the National Executive Council of the party that the president is calling me for us to meet. What's your take? And the party had advised him that the president called you a blackmailer. The president called you a killer. The president called you a fraudster. The president called you a rogue, right? The president called you a dictator. So all of these things the president
not insensual.
Not insensual. All of these things the president has said to you, we think there is no reason for you to sit with this man that have castigated you, that have said the worst about you, to go and sit with him. And again, Matari have said one of the reasons why the National Executive Committee refused for Senator Johnson to meet with the president is that they were afraid that if Senator Johnson meet with the president, there will be photos taken and put on the social media, to cause a whole lot of things, and perhaps will be used against the Nima senator that he had left from JMB.
That would be one of the least worries, Harris.
And he had left from JMB and went back with the president. And why the party, as we speak, is in negotiation with other opposition parties to merge, then this kind of photo coming up. So he said for this reason, that reason, and all of that reasons, it was a reason. It was a cause that of which Senator Johnson then meet with the president. Then one who want to understand that had not been that the National Executive Committee stood firmly. It means that Senator Johnson, in spite of what happening, he is still seeking.
But the old man is not to be trusted.
He's still seeking
in anything.
He's still seeking to meet with the president. So again, someone will ask, why would the president want to meet with Senator Johnson after the CDC in itself, after Bangura had come out and defended the CDC, and today he's serving the worst of punishment because he defended the CDC? Why is it that the CDC in Nima is being treated, is being subjected, and is being marginalized as Senator Johnson? That at this time, the president, after all what has been said about him and executives of his CDC, of his government, all of what Senator Johnson has said about his government, that Liberians today, even $50 can buy a couple of rights, and up and down, and the worst, this is one of the government, the reasons why foreign investors can come in this country, because the president don't have the ability as a leader to lead a country like Liberia. After all what have been said against him, that now he will take a phone and call Senator Johnson. If this information is true, Packer, then it brings someone to a conclusion that Prince Johnson is a desire of Liberia's presidency. It brings someone to a conclusion because now the man has placed himself in a position that the opposition, the former ruling United Party, of which many Liberians at the time were saying it could be a political institution, after taking over, if they will win the elections, will be that institution that will make sure integrity prevail across government, given that the current phase of the party is someone who upholds integrity. That sooner or later Liberians were thinking that direction, came to the realization that they see men ought to be someone that uphold integrity and promote integrity across governments, the one that's aligning himself with people that have caused the worst to the Liberians in this country. Then it brings you back to a conclusion that the president again will be calling Senator Johnson. But at the end of it, if you listen from Atari, I don't want to say it's lie, right? Because
let's play his voice. What is
his voice? We have to get it from the side.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just leave the mainstream there. You drop okay on the
right
on the desktop there. You see the voices.
Wait,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And that's
Okay.
you found.
Is it?
No, that's not it. Go back.
Is it? Yeah. So you just be.
Yeah, and so.
Is it this?
Okay. Yeah, Cheddar, you see Kelvin Matadi voices there.
Okay.
Okay, that's Kelvin.
Okay.
Listen to Kelvin.
For Democracy and Reconstruction has rejected President Weah's request to meet Senator Prince Johnson at his Duporo residence Sunday. Senator Prince Johnson has earlier informed the Executive Committee about President Weah's request to meet him Sunday. The senator informed the Executive Committee that he resisted all attempts by the president to arrange said meeting. The MDRO endorses Senator Johnson's later action not to grant President Weah audience in any form or manner because you cannot call our godfather of the country a killer or blackmailer just a week ago and ask for a meeting nicodemously. The MDRO is aware that the request by the president is not genuine. It's meant to visit Senator Johnson's home, put more pictures on Facebook, and use it as propaganda against our ongoing collaborative discussion with other opposition political parties. Beyond that, President Weah CDC Nima County Chair Regina Mian was just on radio boasting that they can win Nima without the two senators, that is Senator Johnson and Senator Kun effort. Why are you begging for a meeting? For us as a political party, we see absolutely no collaboration, no collaborative effort between us and the CDC. Our new political leader will be on the ballot as presidential candidate come October. Let's test the popularity of President Weah in Nima without Senator Johnson and Senator Kun endorsement.
If you want to be man, Harris, be man. If you want to be woman, be woman. In this case, Prince Johnson is not to be trusted to a large extent. I think what I want to hear from the guys, like the way Kelvin ended, is come what may, our political leader will appear. Sometimes your political leader can appear or surface on the ballot, but you're giving on-ground support to another individual because you know your political leader will not win. But if you are very holistic and you're serious to what you're doing, at any point in time, it sends out a clear message that yes, you mean what you say. But it is on the contrary. Like the question you were asking, if Prince Johnson had not gone to his executive committee members, right, to say, oh, President, we are asked to meet with me, and I think, what is your take prior to that, where the people will have to say, my man, you need not to do it. And a certain thing is just a week after the president called the man killer, called the man blackmailer, and then he wants to sit with the man. So if there are 3 more 5 months now, so let's assume 3 more pass, and the president wants to extend an olive branch to, the MDR, former political leader. So meaning they would have accepted.
Yeah, I think again part of that statement, one would deduce that they are looking at the timing. That it has just been less than a week after the president had which was on Prince Johnson. So for them, they are thinking that the Liberian people hasn't forgotten, right? The Liberian people still have that at the back of their mind, that in less than 1 week, Senator Prince Johnson and President Weah are in a war of words. So in all fairness, one will conclude that the statement from Matali is reminding the president that we should have some extension in the town. That, Mr. President, it was just 1 week. You said Prince Johnson was killed, so you gotta waste more here. And like
people still looking up to us
because the people still remembering that the thing is, the people
in Vlad.
Yeah, in Vlad. So that waste more. That waste more here. Too soon for you
to coming to us.
So,
but what the president do, I think. So the very first time Prince Johnson started this thing, Harris.
You see, like I said this thing the last time on this radio, and I'll repeat again. There is a need that we honor Prince Johnson, some kind of political honor given to him. You know what the guy did? When the minister said they're going to support the CDC, President Weah said, "I'm go sit down, man. I don't get time for it. We get Nima." That minister will take over Nima. The president said, "We're working." The minister Koji there in Nima. Koji there when they oil around, pie around. The traditional leaders Okay, men know that they all what they could do. So when they were Prince Joseph could draw the president's attention. The men forced our meeting with Joseph Boga. The men had a meeting with Joseph Boga. From there, the men party said they are thinking about collaborating. So, yeah.
And then the Unity Party to amplify the entire thing. The Unity
Party amplified. And of reason, the Unity Party been speaking the intro of Prince Joseph. They even attended one of the main services. Right? So, a place the president position that I think the mayor really mean that he go. Let me call him so we can meet. So, Prince Joseph to now, the mayor, you know, he want.
But that probably not stable.
He want Jamaica, you know, to believe in him. So, the only way he can do it now to call the executive committee.
And that's just the first. It will reach that play that Pape will lean in the water.
No, but sure, you know the man has.
Because there is a man who normally he says is about Nimba, not about Liberia, right?
No,
it is not about Liberia, but it's about Nimba.
The fighting the men doing like bro.
It's about Nimba. His whole life is about Nimba, and you forgot to know that once you are a senator, you're not a senator for just a county, but the entire country, because when you go to make laws, you're representing the collective interests of the citizens, the country. So the man whole thinking is about Nimba. So who knows that the man will wake up again one morning and go and say, even though the men were playing high, but you know, this is a, you know, you yourself, the way you cost me that day, when I'm fine, so I got to pay my debt. But then let time go in between small, and, you know, but that's all what the guys are let time go in between small, and then we can meet. But when we're meeting, the other agreement we had, the same thing I brought in Nazi with the LPDP and the MPP. That thing will not work on me. Make sure that before we end the year, give my people something in an area and something in an area, so let's do it something away, let's do it something away. Then, you know, we agree. The very first time Prince Johnson started this entire thing when President Weah was in America, if Mr. Weah had come down and called Prince Johnson, man, let's sit down on the round table, all that thing I was like, all the laws that Prince Johnson, but President, you know, Mr. Weah came to. The man, you know, like when you travel, you spend plenty of days out of the country, you can be fresh.
Yeah, when you come, you know, you can adapt.
Yeah, you can be fresh.
So the Western civilization.
So the Western civilization called across. He said, "Look, I will not be a politician where I got to give money to people before, you know."
The man adapted.
Yeah, the man in 45 days.
To the quarter politics.
Yeah, 45 days. Mr. Weah was able to adapt the way in which the people preach politics in the Western world, where they need not to give you cap arrest, but you need to move from door to door to campaign to say, "Yes, I'm the rep person." So Mr. Weah to adapt that system. Yeah. So when the man came, the man was too sassy. The man said, "But Prince Johnson," he said, "Prince Johnson, I think what you talking about, Vlad. I can listen to you, right? I can listen to you. I will go by the way I've adapted. In fact, I will not get anybody dime to win election or to campaign or to you know, support me. Will not do it. I think I'm happy. Will not get in the job again." But again, this is where we are. That's politics for you. So, but if Prince Johnson is to be trusted, regardless of the Unity Party going into negotiations with a Prince Johnson going in negotiation, having political thoughts and the rest of it. But this is where we are. I think the Unity Party needs to set herself far apart if they are to be looked at as the integrity political institution in our country.
And surely, Parker, and we continue to remind the Unity Party on that. You see, everything you do, there are two ways to remember you, right? Either positively or negatively. So your contributions to every society matters the most. And we continue to remind the Unity Party that oftentimes you have said you are the integrity team. You have said you want to bring integrity to the governance process of our country. You want to ensure that Liberia people stand for what they represent. If that is the case and we are drawing closer to elections, you want to take over the ruling establishment democratically, right? You want to form a merger. It is important you find institutions within your cycle, institutions that uphold the same value as compared to you, right? Institutions that possess the same value as compared to you. And one want to argue, unarguably, the MDRO is not that institution. It's not that institution.
It undermines the existence of your belief.
That reconcile with the Unity Party in terms of shared value, right, and belief. And so because of that, we have reminded the Unity Party that I think there are other political institutions outside of the belt currently you can look for and bring them in, incorporate them. You see, politics, it doesn't matter about the size, right? The size, even though the size is important, but at times, the smaller ones can come and help you be the bigger ones. So you need to take that into consideration. So I think by you distancing from the MDRs of Prince Johnson will help serve the legacy of the party. This is a party that oftentimes have brought some of the best people in terms of Liberia politics in this country. You want to talk about the Johnson Salif, you want to talk about just name them, the Barker, people that stood for integrity in this country. I think it is time you continue on that trajectory.
But Harris, for me, I'm not giving out advice. If the Unity Party, just go in collaboration with the MDR, it tells that the Unity Party is now a serious political party. The Liberian people should not look up to Unity Party as the alternative they preach or they've seen themselves to be, right? So it will show that the opposition under Bwaka government, under the Bwaka's government, will be no different. Will be no different in terms of rule of law, because you have someone like Prince Johnson who has a tinted character. People like Prince Johnson, who is a former warlord, who has been sanctioned by the U.S. and the rest of it. So once you have people of such nature in your circle, and like the president said, the man is a killer, you want to incorporate a killer within your system, right? You want to incorporate a black male within your system. It shows that the Unity Party will not even listen to advice from the U.S. against doing business with sanctioned officials, because Prince White Johnson will have a major say in the decision-making processes of a Unity Party government in Liberia. Right? The man will start the same thing he talked to the CDC. He will start to demand that, hey, this is where we are. This is where we are. In the first place, Unity Party will not be a candidate in Lima. If the Unity Party is to go in agreement with Prince Johnson, Unity Party will not be a candidate in Lima, because this is a man who is supporting your political leader, and in nowhere you will go and support somebody against the man when he's putting your agenda. That's one of the things. And when you shall have won, the man will have a direct say, because he feels like he has given Nima to you in that little in a short period of time, and you want to listen to him. There is no political figure in Liberia who will say, I will go in an agreement with somebody. I see this person to not be good. The person has a bad character. And then I just want the person's support for me to win. And after I shall have won, and then I look back to that person and pay them with evil, it will never work. No political figures in our country got that particular mindset to say they will deceive somebody, to say, okay, yes, let's go into an agreement. When you win, I will give you, when I win, I'll give you this, I'll give you this. And at the end result, when I win the election, and then I slap you at the back, or I slap you at the back and the rest of it. It doesn't work like that in Liberia. We haven't seen a practical case in Liberia. Like for the case of Prince Johnson, the typical example we're talking about, Nima Kante will not be a candidate in let's say the Unity Party will not be a candidate in Nima in 2023. The case of Jeremiah Kun in Nimba. The CDC was not man enough to have featured a candidate in Nimba, because you have Prince Johnson in 2020 supporting President Weah's quest. So where on earth will the CDC support or fee a candidate in Lima in 2020? So the whole attention was shown or given to Senator Kun.
And the thing about it is, well, even with this entire thing surrounding the presidency, the presidential elections, you will continue to hear the MDR say we will fee in candidate for the election. We want to test the president to see who owns Lima. So it tells you that the guys now, after whether they're going to win the entire elections, right? They are concerned that they want to show the president that they will own Lima. So that in all fairness, the presidency, the presidential candidate will be putting out, it's just about to ensure that the CDC don't get any vote in Nima. So that's the main reason, because even the statement you play for for Matari at the end, you will listen to him. He will say, we want to test the strength of the CDC in Nima.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells you that the guys are only focusing on putting a candidate or presidential candidate only to make sure that the CDC doesn't get a vote
that whole
in
thing,
Nima.
I see that whole thing to be
because you can't take the MDR from here and can't bombing, they succeed, they survive. Obviously, I don't know about your green bastard because sometimes that's how it plays out. But so the guys are just particular about Nima, and they think about this whole thing about this tribal, this regional politicking. We should go out of it, and that's the style of politicking that Prince Johnson. And that's one of the reasons why I don't subscribe to his style of politicking. That's issue.
But Prince Johnson, whether you subscribe, you don't. Prince Johnson is not a man to be trusted. The old man is not a man to be trusted. The fair play, the man will tell you, say, Nimba, tribalism. We're trying to get rid of that, right? Everything Nimba. You not give people Nimba job. But he is the same person suppressing, he is the same one suppressing the people on Nimba. Like they have President we are in the first agreement at the end result. You think Prince Johnson, the type of voice he got in Nimba, or going in negotiation with we are in 2017 and Mr. We are won the election. You think when people are supposed to be real ministers, real ministers in the government, if Prince Johnson was already waiting for people to be ministers for Nima, you think they ain't going to be minister? You think he ain't going to be minister? The man got a voice. At a certain point in time, he can use his voice to get what he wants to get. But again, the people that they were in power will become more powerful than him. And at the end result, he doesn't want for someone to be more than him. That's Prince Johnson. And every time the U.S. government keeps reminding us, the U.S. government keeps reminding us about those who are sanctioned. The U.S. Embassy Deputy Chief of Mission has urged the country's judiciary system to take action and follow up on sanctioned Liberian officials. Prince Johnson is number one. Prince Johnson is number one. Vanny Sherman is number two. Nathaniel McGill is number three. Serenio Seaforth is another person. Bill Twawe is another person. But these people, a year from now, if we are not careful, will be decision makers in our country. They will be decision maker in our country at the Liberian Senate, and nothing will be done. Because once you give the man 9 years job, you have empowered that man for the next 9 years to not go to court. 9 years, you've empowered that man to enrich himself and his family, that for the next 9 years, we'll just sit in this country and nothing happens. So what wrongs to man? You see a unity party. You see in President we are stay the way in which they were going at each other. Stay President we is going after Prince Johnson to have negotiations that they can return to status quo, and at the end result they continue what they continue to do. Does it in any way mean that Liberia as a country is more serious in, to weed out corrupt elements into the governance space of our country? Is Liberia a serious country? When you see people like Prince Johnson is still being running after, you got Unity Party, you got the CDC still going after the man, we continue to empower one person over and over. And it is a reminder. And Joel Maybrough said, the U.S., he said, they called on the judiciary system to take concrete action against censored Liberian government officials instead of relying on the U.S. government to act on their behalf. So those of you waiting for the U.S. to act, before made Prince Johnson then to be punished in this country for that pay for play stuff and thing, then we're wasting our time. Instead of us focusing on that, we're still running after somebody who is not to be trusted. The Unity Party said on a man their integrity to have done release a press statement saying that any moment from now, or let's say a time from now, they will disclose the meeting between their political leader, Ambassador Boaka, and the MDR vision bearer, Prince Johnson, and they're having political talks. What wrongs the man when these things continue to happen? People are still in circulation. It's not that we're serious in this country to fight the issue of corruption, to fight bad governance. Are we serious? So it is rested upon Liberians that today, when Prince Johnson partake and disclose that the president, Mr. Weah, had called to have a dialogue with Prince Johnson, and then they rejected it, it tells that we Liberians, we should just sit and cry for ourselves, because what these political elements do in the public, it got no harm on them. That after days they will sit in a closet, they will sit closed doors and laugh at we the Liberians, the ordinary people who stand in queue 2-3 hours to go and put them in power.
So again, another thing you ask yourself, today if you have a conversation with seditionists, right, they will tell you that we don't want to work with Prince Johnson anymore. Seditionists will tell you, they will discuss, they will say the words of, they will say the words to Prince Johnson. If you have a conversation with the MDR partisans, they will say the opposite, and you will see Liberians will be going at one another. So come to think of it, at the end, the president, you seditionists, after you have said the worst about Prince Johnson, your president, your leader is calling the men so that you have dialogue. They should sit, they should wine and dine and have and make decision on behalf of you. So it tells you that the politics should go beyond just that in Liberia. That we should seek for the sincerity in those leaders. We should seek to understand whether what they are saying, whether they mean well for you, they mean well for each and every one of us. That's why we continue to be overplayed in this country. We continue to be used in this country. That the Unity Party will come out and say it, they are in a political conversation with a character like Prince Johnson. That's why today the MDR will inform to you Liberians that after all what that have been said against the president, that the president have called Prince Johnson and begging him to a meeting.
So you see? So what more about you now, the ordinary men who are saying Prince Johnson at this, Prince Johnson at that, Prince Johnson at this, Prince Johnson is not this, Prince Johnson is that. Your political leader is now calling the man to a meeting. So it tells that we Liberians, we just need to be careful. These people are not people to rely on. They are not people to care yourself for. They are not people you use them, you use their stories to create enemies for yourself. Liberia is a very smart country. We just intend to advance you. Liberia is a very smart country. That you will go head to head with somebody, insult them, color speech, because you feel the president is not supporting this other president, and at the end result, these people meet areas that it will take you years before you go. And after they should have insulted each other in the public space, after 2-3 days, you see them holding hands, moving. They say, we have settled our dispute. Then you, the ordinary people, you cannot go to somebody insulted because of them. That's the way politics is being played. That's how the people use you. So you got to be more careful. Anything we're talking about, the U.S., every time they're reminding us, the people, they are friends to Liberia. The U.S. is a very strong ally to Liberia. That no one can dispute. President George Weah re-emphasized that during the State of the Nation address. But again, where do we stand when these people are fighting for us and we refused to fight for ourselves? We refuse to fight for ourselves because the government lacks the will to do the needful. By going beyond just the U.S. releasing a result that this person is corrupt and this person has been sanctioned, and then the government will suspend that person, and after some days the person will resign, and will be the end of the story of that person. Does it mean that we're serious? Does it in any way mean that we're serious to show to America that yes, indeed, whatsoever thing you said, to tell you how serious or robust we are, we've been able to execute this. We validated this, that yes, this person was actually born into this earth. And then it encourages, it places the Americans, those who are doing their work, because we very lazy, we all the work for ourselves to weed corruption out of our system. It empowers them more to get the bad elements from out of the system. But again, you got Prince Johnson. The man is still holding political talks. Now the man will brag that without me, we can win Nimba. So that's why he's calling for a political meeting. That's why he called in to meet with me. And that's what I said, Nimba is my stronghold. The man said, I don't own Nimba, but Nimba owns me. Right? So as a result of these actions, that you see top political institutions in our country going after the man, day after the other, it empowers the man more to say some of the things he says. It empowers him more to say that some of the things that the Americans will say it is a lie, because Liberia or the government does not have the political will to prosecute anybody who will be found in corruption, who has been alleged or been corrupt, and the rest of it. So the people will do, Prince Johnson will do the thing, and nothing will come from other aid. And that's why Unity Party just looking at, because they are so desperate, they came out, they came running, with press release. You think when there is a good row between Weah and Weah and Prince Johnson, you think Prince Johnson will leave Weah for Unity Party?
No, obviously he won't. Obviously he won't.
There will be no way that Prince Johnson will leave Weah for Unity Party had not been if they never had that rough route and the rest of it. But again, is this old man is to be trusted in this process that yes, they will feed a candidate in Nimba, most especially on the presidential slot, and the rest of it? Is it that he's been trusted this time around? The Liberians need to look up to him, that if he says Weah is a corrupt element, Mr. Weah is corrupt, and in fact, he doesn't mean well, he hasn't done well, that he stands by what he said, that man will not go into negotiation with any political institution.
No,
his interest it shouldn't just be about unseating Weah. But this is a man who has preached his politics. Even from the time he was fighting war, the whole thing that Nimba, it is not bad to talk about your county. It is not bad.
But you
again,
should have the equal feelings about everyone within your country.
But the man, he doesn't think that way. And that's why he shouldn't be trusted.
So,
that's why Prince Johnson is supposed to be prosecuted.
So it tells you that even when the MDR, God forbid, for instance, right, the MDR produces the president in this country, it tells you that everything about the presidency will focus on Nimba. Because even the guys have been thinking over here, the politics of preaching is just about Nimba. And one of those days, we have said times of our numbers in this country. The MDR you spoke of, Prince Johnson said he went into a collaboration with the CDC so that he should get a job. It is only the Madians that are members, are supporters of the MDR. So the MDR don't have any partisan in Grand Bassa. The MDR don't have any partisan in Margibi. The MDR doesn't have any partisan in Mosorado. That oftentimes we'll tell you that MDR, we came out when we joined the CDC because we wanted a job for the Madden.
The man is associate one, associate all.
So it tells you that even if that political institution happens to produce a president, it tells you that everything about the presidency will focus squarely on the Maddens. And we have said that Liberia, when we have reached, these same politics have been preached and we suffer from it. It is time.
But he has done no good.
It is time we preach a national party thinking. We should understand that the politics will win that verse should cut across that everyone, that whether you from Riverses, the party originated from Nima, you from Riverses, it's a matter of much you benefit equally as those from Nima. But Prince Johnson has failed to understand that. So what he does is that he look around and plays on the intelligence of people that ought to be responsible in this country. He plays on the intelligence of those that ought to be sincere to the people they represent. And that's why these things continue to happen. Listen, if Prince Johnson comes to for instance, to Parker party, we gain here. He come to Harris's party, we gain here. The next thing that happened, even he go and tell Nima won't get.
The man becomes useless. He becomes very useless in the political space.
So if the CDC says we get down for you, go to your Nima. The United Party say won't get time for you, go to your Nima. The ANC say won't get time for you, go to your Nima. The next thing that happens, the Nima alone cannot make Prince Johnson to become president because Nima don't have 50% plus one vote in Liberia to make Prince Johnson to become president. The thing is clear. Then where else will he go? No, will he go nowhere, right? So the next thing he will do, he take his MDR up and form his own country, right?
Nima Republic.
Nima Republic and control them there.
But that politics is not working against Harris. That politics about Prince Johnson controlling Nima, that you cannot dispute, but it is now working to a larger extent like the way it was some years back. I think the minds of the people now are developed at a certain point, and they will not just sit there and allow one man with a bad character, one man who is noted to be a notorious warlord in our country, and at the end result, because the government has failed, government in and out, have failed, to do the necessary thing by prosecuting people like Prince Johnson, and that's why they continue to pass around here and there. The president validated what the man said. The man said, I will not, what the U.S. been saying. The president said, I will not say to give money to anybody again. So Prince Johnson have been demanding money and things. So what U.S. said, the U.S. said that they pay for play and the rest of it, and you see Prince Johnson need coming into it, and Mr. Weir, that few times he have doubted the Western politics. I think Mr. Weir should have just stayed on that power. He should have just stayed on that power, and that path rather, he should have just stayed on that path and preach his politics that way. The Jehovah's Witness style, where he needs not to go to people like Prince Johnson to say, okay, can I sit down on the table to dialogue and the rest of it? But these things continue to happen because the people who trust independently, they don't move. They don't have their own independent thinking. They're too anxious. They're too desperate for, ruling Liberia, and that's why they go into some of these things. So sometimes you don't blame them. But it is rested on the shoulders of Liberians. It lies squarely in your purview to decide. You need to be decisive. Do not be carried away with somebody who will tell you, I will give you back of rice. Gone are those days where our people used to be fooled by their stomach, though it is still happening because of the poverty rate in our country. It's still happening. That's why sometimes have you seen somebody getting vexed because they ain't getting party t-shirt?
Yeah. He's a party t-shirt. He's a beret.
Yeah. So because the person gave you beret. So he said, I will not vote for that person. So on what basis were you even voting? On the basis of beret, on the basis of t-shirts and the rest of it. So Liberians need to be more careful. The case with Prince Johnson and Mr. Weir, that the Prince Johnson MDR has disclosed that Mr. Weir has called, and then they have the meeting. It should be a wake-up call to Liberians.
The opposition Unity Party should have capitalized on that point. There are lots of voters in Liberia that understand integrity is a hallmark to a good leadership. If the Unity Party could have used that, it could be a fine thing for them. But instead, what difference will you be preaching? How different will your leadership be? It tells that you will be the same person that will still be aligning yourself with those few and recycled politicians in the words of the late Dr. Daniel Cassell. Right? That Barons, you see politicians would move from one place to another. Once the man knows that his time in this place expires, and no one wants to see him, no one wants to hear him again, he moved to this next era. Right? He shift and come up with new tactics and come with the expectation that he has or what he takes to deliver it. You want to look at the same thing. Louis Brown, Toka Giwe McIntosh, send it went to the ANC, what didn't change?
But the same thing, the bros
Nothing.
suffering. That type of people they will look at.
Nothing. So it tells you that these guys, when they know they fail from this place, they move to the next area because all of them are seeking for themselves.
And that's why we shouldn't believe in them. We shouldn't believe what they say. Independently, we need to verify some of the information that they gave. In campaign time, you will see a man telling you that he will build roads. He will do this one. But can you man up and ask the man on what basis? Or how will you pay the road you're talking about, the school you're talking about, and the rest of it? We need to be critical. So Liberians need to wake up. Prince Johnson, they're just moving from here and there. When will Liberians, Liberia present a picture to the international world to say, okay, yes, we're getting rid of all of the Baba people from the decision-making processes of our country, and then even the people themselves, the ordinary people, the people themselves, they're not even willing to trust anybody new in the first place. So they continue to be lied to. They continue to sit there and people lie to them, tell them the worst in a form that it is good, and at the end result, it becomes bad. So know who to argue for. We'll go to the telephone line. 0770-907-907, 0880-907-907, 0770-907-907, 0880-907-907. Those of you following us via the television, you call us +231 775 189193. Indeed, the number is being pinned on your screen. You can just follow us this morning, and let's have conversation. This is Good Morning Liberia. My name is April Parker. Harris Willie is here as well. So we'll take your calls now. The issue of the MDR informing Liberians that Prince Johnson are called and they want to go for political dialogue. We know that dialogue is a way out. The network fails from that end. We'll take a call from this side.
Hello?
Good morning. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Yeah, good morning, sir. I'm Arthur K. Freeman calling from Broadview.
Let's hear you, Alfred.
Yeah, I'm brother this country. They just our leader then put a trust in then, but still they just laying all down. Who is Prince Johnson that the people will just be running behind? What is Prince Johnson able to offer this country? Everything about Prince Johnson is just about Nima. So low desist from those kind of things that we think about Liberia, the entire country, that not only one country, one person will be talking about Nima. No. So thank you this morning.
Thank you. We'll talk to this person. Good morning.
Good morning.
Quickly, let's say.
Good morning, Doctor. And let me say good morning to the voice of the viewer family. This is activist McLean Render, and I do join the voice of the viewer family this morning from SEAL. Quite friendly, if you were to look at the desperation that have seen the highest level ever for the presidency in his our President George Manuel Weah. It's almost like you stand in front of your woman family and then you abuse your woman in front of your woman family, disgrace your woman in front of the United States. You go back, make a demonstrate at night, and go back to go talk to the woman. That's the president where it is for the presidency. I listened to the guys from the NUDP of the political party that said, and they have been all on news over that inside. President, we are when make a demonstrate to talk to Prince Joseph. Let me say this for about 5. The president is currently aware that in fact, the 3 most populated counties, prominent now in the province of Bureau, he has lost in those political parties in those counties. And to win the October 10th election, you must have strong rapport and strong card fully vote in those counties. Lima, North County, Lima County, Lofa County. President, we have lost his grip in North County. He also lost his grip in Lofa County and Lima County too also. So, the president do everything possible
But Mr. We are high a strong relationship in Lofa. I think he's trying. He never had a strong relationship in Lofa.
I'm not saying that in fact you don't have relationship in Lofa County or you don't have.
But he said he lost as if he had it though.
Yeah, he has lost it in Lofa County.
But he ever had it there?
But that's the thing, President. We has never had a stronghold in Lofa. So if you say he lost it,
Good morning.
Then it's different. We'll talk to this person. Good morning.
Good morning to you, my brother, the friend in studio, and good morning to my peace-loving people of Monserrado County.
Quickly,
My name is Sarah Johnson. I pulled in this morning from the more abandoned and underdeveloped community of this specific Conway, New Jersey Town Center.
Boy, you were made for that district to not be abandoned and undeveloped now.
Hello?
Cyrus.
Go ahead, Cyrus.
Go ahead, Cyrus.
Yeah. My brother and friend, I listen to each and every one of you this morning, Lemtiri. Let's put all our political differences aside. Liberia is the only country that we have. 2, I can be representing the Republic of Liberia, including the citizen, then investor can nationalize the right of the citizen. It shows their respect. It's tell people that I'm only there for my self-advancement. Then it tell people that I'm too lackadaisical in my performance as a leader. It's what the national government is doing. And not even the we are led government, they're not even the head in Johnson said led government. I believe there are a lot of government have been doing it. But to be frank, the head in Johnson said government and that of the we are led government I show it broadly to the Liberian people that the alien, the foreigner, the whosoever, they always in the constant habit of violating the Liberian who will work with them to speed up their job to be well done. I listen to you. And additional to that, Sekou Sherry is a Liberian. And now somebody coming out to threaten Sekou Sherry as a journalist. This situation shouldn't be under Sekou Sherry alone. All the journalists that can always leave their bases carry to go and discuss issues relating to the growth and development of our country. Their lives have been threatened. Their life is in trouble. Because where have you seen for investor to come out or an agent to come out to threaten a journalist who play an independent role? Journalist can face you, journalist can destroy you. You see, up to now, we are not hear any statement coming from the police, more especially the veteran who received the petition that they are central, bread in completion. Up to now, we are not one day year of press conference for you to tell the Liberian people and that of the outside world that they received a communication from one journalist in President of Sekou Sherry and his dissatisfaction and his grievances need to be addressed. We are not one day year such thing to that. But my utmost surprise this morning to listen to you saying that by the grace of God, the national legislature may be, they will put it on to discuss it. Now, where we expect now for the Council of Churches now to come in to tell people that yeah, it's not necessary for people to threaten journalists.
Thank you.
Now people are all sitting and go out of here. That's the time you will say, oh, the people, they don't want to think about the time, this one, that one that happened. We're using the diplomatic means to inform the national government are responsible to protect life and property. The next time they happen, for me, I called Sekou Sherry this morning, I'm going to be clear with it. My name is Sarah Johnson, I'm not going to be afraid. We will go by there again, assembly if our Sekou Sherry communication will not be accepted or it will not be met or it will not be addressed to the expectation of Sekou Sherry. We appear and we disappear and we make sure that the tactical government will put their feet to the fire. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you indeed.
Thanks so kindly, Cyrus.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm Wada Kanu and speaking for Fiamma to this specific witness.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for discussion. Let me dive with the issue of Prince Johnson. I heard you people saying that Prince Johnson, everything at Nimba. Everything at Nimba. Can we look at the present government, the protest, the president himself?
My man, none of the Sonny coming to you, man.
Tell us about what saying is lie.
Give me chance. Give me chance.
No, but that's not the discussion. That's not the discussion. We're coming to talk about Senate protest, this, that. That's not the discussion.
You said everything.
Yeah, but everything about Prince Johnson is Nima.
No, the
When the last time you heard Prince Johnson
the
talking
first
about?
thing say what we say. No, listen now. Don't compare that way. I'm saying what you need to do. We say everything Prince Johnson speak of will be Nima. Tell us that lie, right? Then before we can begin a conversation, tell us that we lie on that one.
No, listen now. I will not tell you no or yes.
But then
I
we'll.
will give my
I'll talk to this person. Good morning.
No, I think he's off. I
Hello.
wanted you to
Good
have a
morning.
conversation. Good morning, let's hear you, man.
Yeah, my name is Ben Julie, and I'm calling from the Sudan.
Let's say it first.
Okay, let me go to the issue of safety and all of the Alaga. This foreigner thing that they contribute to the other government in the pocket. They got threatening the life of journalists in this country, and simple is left over to the Liberian National Police, and no action has been taken. I think we are still there, they one time, and if no action taken again, then we'll have to go back there again to go remind them. The only issue of Prince Johnson issue is, Prince Johnson is specifically he loved the Liberians. Even though President, we are getting a lot of Liberian job in the place here. To get a job. Almost about 15 to 19% have been appointed in his government by President we are. And look at the construction that been going in Libya. And Prince Johnson stays there and saying that President we are owning the one, President we are owning the other one. What? Guys, they were ungrateful that in the said to be a political commodity.
Yeah, but the people say the man in pay for play. And since the U.S. government talk about it, and we just sit it down too.
We know, all the running that Mr. Johnson running around. We know that you will still come to the city.
What you think, yeah?
We know you will still come back.
Okay.
You will still enter your position with the city again. Thank you.
07709079070 are the numbers, and you will be live on Good Morning Liberia. We're looking at this issue of praying with Prince Johnson. Hey. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Let's hear you. Your name.
My name is Tamusa, and I call you from the Japan Highway.
You need to be audible.
Yeah, I say my name is Tamusa Conway, and I call you from Japan Highway.
Conway, let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the topic on the discussion. Yeah, the whole thing about the Prince Johnson, is that it looks like when somebody, takes, study a lesson and going to take text. And you're not sure of what the test are you going to take, you're going to make a pass. Reason being, your population, Nima County is a one county. It has 16 counties in Liberia. This one county alone will not vote for you, you will still win. If you go run your campaign, once you put out what you want to do for the Liberian people and they believe in you, go and tell them what you want to do. Don't depend on Prince Johnson. Do what you're supposed to do that your Liberian people they trust you that they are a person that will go there and will be able to deliver what we put him there for. You don't have to go to Prince Johnson and I need vote from you. I'd come to them. No, it's wrong. Run your own campaign. Believe that yes, I can do it. What I'm able to do for the Liberian people, they will believe in it and they will vote for me.
Okay.
Thank you for affording me the opportunity.
Thank you. 07709079007. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's hear you.
Well, my name is Mopani from Lodging Town.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it is on the contract of Prince Johnson issue, but when you be a political leader in the VC or so, it not be this on that way. And then I in there with Prince Johnson and with me, then I see what last year because by there, people will be fighting her, to bring justice for me, like Prince Johnson for killing our people, and all I need going to Prince Johnson, all $1. The complete shame to we, the Liberian people, shame to be begging Prince Johnson here and there. So I pay quality to the Liberian people. That's my point.
Thank you. Talk to this.
You made a very good point. Thank you.
Good morning. Oh, that's a person. Oh my word. 0770 907 907. Add the numbers. Call us on these numbers and be from any phone part of the program. I think we have this person. Good morning.
Good morning, voice.
This
is Jimmy I'm calling from New Jersey.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah. You know, I listened to one of your callers, and he said, Prince Johnson is ungrateful because I think they got 9 positions given to them. Is that caller serious? You know what does it mean? You know what I mean for Nima County to give you a victory, and then you talk about 9 persons. Who are the 9 persons? He able to name the 9 persons he's talking about. Are they in strategic positions? Look, let's call a spade a spade. This president has already said that Prince Johnson is a killer. Now he's sending delegation to Prince Johnson to iron up their differences. But you know, Prince Johnson is difficult for people to believe him. When he said this, he's not going to do this, but later on the next day, he does it. So Prince Johnson cannot be taken for joke. When people put their vernacular on in their view or manner language, whatever that man says, many people, I don't say all, many people will follow him. So send and say the man's a killer. Why run behind a killer now to give you Nima County? And what is 9 position equivalent to giving a whole county to this president? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Luke J. Topo. I call from District 2, Monroe County.
Go ahead, Luke. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, it is indeed true that Prince Johnson, everything about him is Nima County. And Prince Johnson, to be frank, is not a patriotic person in Liberia here. And this is why everything he talk about is about Nima County, and that's why doing this or doing the civil war, they looted the entire country and haul everything to Nima County, because he's a person, he's a kind of person that I mean, he just an all-law person. I mean, he don't care about anybody else, but only or his selfishness. That's all he cares about. And I don't know why President Weah should always be, running after Nima County and why whatsoever. And without Nima County, Mr. Weah or President Weah can still become the next president for the Republic of Liberia. So I don't know why he should be running and here and there and making Prince Johnson to feel like without him or without Nima County he cannot make it. So Prince Johnson is not a patriotic person, to be frank, and that's what I have to say this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to this person. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's hear you.
Yeah. I called from Banjang this morning.
What's your name?
My name is Marilyn Watson. You know, I want to tell the Nigerians that if they fear God and know that we are striving for this nation to be better, they will not insist that Prince Johnson continue to lead them or say something to them. They should be praying for his soul. They should be asking God for forgiveness. Even if my child did wrong, I must tell my child the truth and not beg my child for every time to go up there and open arm or me. Let's just say insulting people, then when he can't run into me, I came behind him. So we are talking about Liberia here today. We are not talking about only a county. We are not talking about only a district. We're talking about Liberia in question here. And we know the atrocities that went on in Liberia here. Mm-hmm. So much killing bloodshed and what have you. But if Prince Johnson was truly sorry, he will not one day go back to anything that ever happened before. But because he tried to pick this man up, the president up, because this is a political thing. And he knew that when he threw the rock, and indeed it will cause problems. And when he first started, the president is a human being. And truly, what he said is not a lie. And we all know it's not a lie that this senator from the Mark County, he did stuff. But we all try to forego it. But he shouldn't use this now as a excuse or a threat. Because he knows that whenever he says something, the Mark County people will follow him. I want to say this in a public manner to the Malian. Now we are in a generation of looking at ginger and all around, or Jesus is coming again. We should repent. We should be sorry for the things we did and force ahead with good things that when Jesus has come, he will embrace us. I want to tell them that they shouldn't continue to back him. They should look at the development and for the sake of Liberia. And the politician now is using this. I know some of them behind this. They try to push him. Say go. Say this. And when you say, well, no, other people will come on and begin to say negative things against Senator Johnson, and then there where you people will get first from. And there where you will say, okay, we're not doing this, we're not voting. You see when people come from abroad or other parents in the world, they will just go to the country alone. They will come to RRA. They will come to Monrovia. They will be talking about Liberia. They will not be talking about one country. They will not be talking about Nima country. So what we're talking about this government is we're talking about development. We're not talking about our OSC. We're not talking about those things that people put money in their pocket and just be posting and passing around, putting it and not putting it to use.
Thank you very much. To this person, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you?
I mean, the Zambia after Kenya for the United
Man, what you ask so, brother?
Yeah, brother.
You want to hustle, eh?
Well, let me provide clarity concerning about business in the country.
What kind of clarity you want to provide?
In the country is a call from the politician themselves. Look, we the Nimalian, we are not supposed to bring Johnson because it's for our country. But the politician they get the make grant to do what he's doing. And everybody in Nima country supposed to bring Johnson all that thing. I'm gonna tell you, yeah, for Nima country, we are all for Nima country. Most of all, we for different parties. So let the people forget about Nima. Let us discuss Prince Johnson.
Yeah, but like the man can be talking about your Nima now, so the man cannot discuss politics without Nima. But you're the same people, you're not in power, man.
Yeah, nobody, Prince Johnson, when I get down, you will not get out of fail to say even somebody, a president, we are not making Prince Johnson to be passing all around and saying a lot of things.
Yeah, who for Nima ready to prosecute? We are.
Everybody will get what
you have on Nima, you ready to make Prince Johnson out of government boom?
Yeah, a politician is ready, we can do it.
Oh, that politician will be ready. You say you can't be ready, that politician will be ready.
I'm going to tell you, I'm really long time. Like the reason why I'm for Joseph Nima Praga.
Okay.
I'm really long time. Yeah,
all right. 0770-907-907-088-0907-907 are the numbers. We take your calls this morning. Those of you following via the Facebook, the TV, yes, thanks for joining us. Plus 231-775-1891-93 is the number you're going to call us via the WhatsApp. It is on, and you're going to follow the conversation or make your input on the conversation this morning on the show. So this is Good Morning Liberia. We'll take your calls right here. April and Parker Harris with it. This person joins us. Good morning. Let's hear you. That person is out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So we take calls coming up very shortly. We'll go for a break. When we return, we shift the discussion to another thing. And at 10 o'clock this morning, we cut it on this edition of the show. Line 3 brings in this pressing. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Yeah, we're okay. Let's hear you, your name, and where do you call from?
My name is Mandaka from New Georgia Estate.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say, I tell America, thank you for you and I. And what I want to say to my brother Sekou will never be afraid. God will all protect him and guide him. And both the other institutes, God protect you. And you see, Liberia, let's shine the ash towards the thing that going on. Because he's not God, he's man. You know anything about people talk Prince Johnson, and the president said he didn't want to vote. You confused how you do all these things. The only thing I want to say about the Liberia, we should not shine our eyes. Go to the body and get who's will get up. Let's take care of God be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. 0770907907907 08809079007. Add in numbers. Call us on these numbers and be live. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Theodore calling from District 17. Yes,
go ahead.
My brother, so the issue of President Johnson is that it started when he started, supporting this government. Now the people gave President Johnson, residence at the time he started supporting the CDC government. So what is the issue for which now the President Johnson said that he no longer want to be with and then all of those issues start coming up in President Johnson. That at the time he supported the government, nobody accused President Johnson of being a bad man. Everybody was taking a pretty song behind President Johnson, yeah. But now he does not want to support the government now. People are coming out to accuse him to say, oh, President Johnson is a bad man, and he fought war, he did that, he did millennium, and what have you. All of those things is not correct. If at all you want to support the one for President Johnson to support him, then I just go to President Johnson and appeal to him. Oh, President Johnson, President Johnson, we want you to support us and let Bagon be Bagon and come back. But now they are accusing President Johnson because President Johnson don't want to support the CDC. That is not correct. It is not correct at all.
Okay, we'll call it there on this segment. Thanks for joining us, my brother. We got to go. It's 80 minutes. 80 minutes, the time will be 10, and that's how we roll on this Monday's edition. So we'll go for a break. When we return, we go into all the pensioners, the National Pensioners Union of Liberia. They got some kind of organization, those who they are pensioned, the people calling for their benefit and so. So we're going to look at that this morning. And at 10 o'clock, we'll call it a date on this edition with just 17 minutes to go. We'll take a break from Telecel Liberia.
Are you tired with slow internet? Do you want super fast and affordable internet? Telecel Liberia is here to provide all your internet service needs. The internet is moving at a fast pace, and only super fast internet speed can help you keep up. At Telecel, our internet packages are divided into distinct categories: Mega, Optimal, Premium, Elite, and Big Business that suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more. Anything is possible with Telecel Liberia. Get your own streaming box for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and more. At Telecel, our amazing 24-hour customer service is there to help you with all your needs. Telecel Liberia, super fast speed, 24 hours technical support team, the best broadband and fiber optic internet service in Liberia. For more information, please call 0770-399-399 or 0881-399-399. Or stop by our office on 3rd Street, Syncor, opposite the Carter Center and GLZ building. Visit our website, telecelliberia.com. Email us at info@telecelliberia.com. Telecel Liberia, the best internet service provider, is here for you. Telecel Liberia, connecting the unconnected.
I want to flex my love. I want to impress.
Are you tired with slow internet? Do you want super fast and affordable internet? Telecel Liberia is here to provide all your internet service needs. The The internet is moving at a fast pace, and only super fast internet speed can help you keep up. At Telecel, our internet packages are divided into distinct categories: Mega, Optimal, Premium, Elite, and Big Business that suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more. Anything is possible with Telecel Liberia. Get your own streaming box for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and more. At Telecel, our amazing 24-hour customer service is there to help you with all your needs. Telecel Liberia, super fast speed, 24 hours technical support team, the best broadband and fiber optic internet service in Liberia. For more information, please call 0770-399-399 or 0881-399-399. Or stop by our office on 3rd Street, Syncor, opposite the Carter Center and GLZ building. Visit our website, telecelliberia.com. Email us at info@telecelliberia.com. Telecel Liberia, the best internet service provider, is here for you. Telecel Liberia, connecting the unconnected.
I want to flex my love.
Yes, getting the connected, and anything at Telecel Liberia is powerful and is possible. Yes, Telecel Liberia is Liberia's leading internet service provider, and for free, we can say that. Go on 3rd Street. Yes, the office is there. Visit Telecel Liberia today. You're going to get the best of internet service in your homes, hotels, business areas, workplaces, and the rest of it. Telecel Liberia is there to provide internet service. Sometimes those of you are, like say, offering social services to people like Harris and they're on the beach and the rest of it. You go there, you need to make it more good and juicy. You provide internet for your customers. Telecel says they can run everything smoothly for you, and at the end result, you will never regret. At the hotel, sometimes you go to so many bigger hotels, you see Wi-Fi and the rest of it. Telecel is there to provide and empower you in what you do. This is Good Morning Liberia. 30 minutes, the time will be 10, and at that time, we will be saying goodbye to you on this Monday's edition of Good Morning Liberia. Harris, is great to be back on the final portion. We just want to speak to this issue, and then we'll call it a day on this edition and go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it feels good to be back, and like you said, on the second segment, we're going to look at the pensioners of Liberia, the National Pensioners Union. I too, when I came across that, was a big shock, but yeah. So we're going to look into that. We're going to look into the nitty-gritty of that. What are they calling for? What are they asking government to do? And I can listen to them say over 5,000 of their members are affected. Since after the government let them off the job, they haven't received their handshakes, and in the thing, it means their benefit, their pension benefit, and so they are calling on the government to ensure that that is being looked at, and they do the needful on that as well.
This is where we are. So about 5,000 of the members from this union are appealing for government to provide legitimate retirement packages to over 5,000 of our members. I like the word legitimate. And the word used in this particular thing as per the entire understanding. But let's just give you the rundown. And then they want for the government also to secure their benefits and place them on the pension allowances at the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. And then the union's vice president said the members, since 2020, they got retired. They got retired since 2020, and since then, they were being removed from government payroll. Yes, once you've been retired, you will be removed from government's payroll. But it says since 2020, they are yet to receive their retirement packages. What runs to mind when you should have worked 50 years, 60 years, and you've been retired? Like I had an interview with one retired teacher, And he said, it is an honorable thing. And when you work and you've been retired by government, because the thing they call integrity matters, right? It plays out and it speaks to a larger extent in your school of operations and the rest of it. And then you work for an institution, most especially government.
Government in the public sector.
You work 20, 30 years, 25 years, and at age 60, you've been retired. It is an honorable thing to be retired by government because you spent, let's assume, 25 years of your life working for government. And in that time, whether the rain beat you, the sun, you had accident, encountered difficulties, sometimes they don't want to know. But again, you were professional, 25 years of your life you were professional. At the end result, nothing that's stealing, to compromise your integrity because of little or nothing. And 25 years that you will not be fired and you got retired by government. Again, what hurts more is when you should have sacrificed 25 years of your life working. And at the end result, when you are being retired, which is noted to be an honorable thing, but once it is not seen that this thing is very respectful, is to be respected. This person should be respected in society to have worked 25 years of his life with us, and at the end he resolved, since he got retired, he hasn't gotten his benefit. It speaks volume to a larger extent. Yeah. It is not about what type of program the person should enroll in. It's just about the system and the lack of will, and the people who are running these institutions are not sincere. This is a case for typical example. There are people in the education system. They will notice that this person, sometimes you see ghost name on government's payroll, ghost name. These are all of the results. They know this person is being retired and the person should be stripped off the payroll. But again, they have the people's names in the system, and they use that place, their brothers and sisters, to collect the benefit. That could be one of the case studies. So sometimes people will work throughout, and at the end result, they're not being paid. They consider themselves to be voluntary teachers. But there are people who have been retired, what they're supposed to just turn the entire thing over to you, but they get their brothers and sisters in the system. So the people say, some of the members got retired since 2020. But since 2020 they got retired, they haven't gotten their legitimate pay. Legitimacy. They added the word legitimate to it because they worked for it. They paid for it. Their sweat, their time, their energy, they put in, and at the end result, they expect to get back after they should have been retired. But it's a different case. They said about 5,000, just 5,000. When the other people start to speak out, it will be a whole different case. A whole different thing. So they call it the government. In other countries, the retirement program is being structured and very unique in a way that once you retire today, you get enrolled into the process, and at the end result, you get your pay.
Because the thing about it, it is an honorable thing to be retired. There are a lot of challenges that come the way while you're on the job. There are people that have been dismissed for a lot of things. Some for corruption, some for different reasons. So if you are especially serving the public sector, that you cater to the welfare and the needs of you attend your services cut across the public as whole. Differently, you deal with people from diverse background, people that come, people that, differently you deal with people. So to work in such a space up until you have been honorably retired and said, thanks for the service you rendered to the government of Liberia over the time. Indeed, your services were profitable to us. We say thank you, go and have your rest. I think all of what that person struggled for while at the time they were actively working, all of what they saved as retirement benefits should be provided to them right after retirement. So that you have the people just from 2020 to now, over 5,000 persons that should receive their pension benefits, of which they are yet to receive it. We know that the government won't deliberately refuse to give it, but I think there is a need. You have a conversation with them to your NASCOP and ensure that
some of them they are not even being enrolled in the program. Enrolling in the program is another thing.
And as I learned from that, if you listen to the vice president that in the audio, he will tell you out of the over 5,000 members, only 243 persons have been incorporated into NASCOP.
And then you go in the NASCOP again is another thing. Your own money, the people call for you. At the end of the month, they call that money. That money, what they call to you when you retire, now that same thing is always to be given back to you. But the people can do it. This is Liberia, man. Wednesday we'll be here. We'll look at this particular conversation. We hope to establish talk with Alfred. Yes, we will speak with Alfred to see how best the UN's vice president. We will actually talk with him to amplify this particular thing. But we got to go, folks. Thanks for being with us this morning. But let's acknowledge those of you who followed. Gabriel MC Parker, thanks for joining us. Emmett Hammond, Honorable George Watkins Jr., Baden TQ, Dore, thanks for joining us. And Morphew Flomo, thanks for joining us. Oscar Papi, Keita Jenkins, Vani Mambandi, thanks for joining us. Oscar Jenkins, Vani again. Ruben Cannon, thanks for joining us. Roberta Riches, November Bip, Mercy Williams, Emmanuel Gabe, thanks for joining us. Cetra Tor, the rest of it, Emmanuel. Okay, so a whole lot. So thanks for joining us. Thanks to all of you for following. It has really been a great time. Join us on Wednesday. We will be here with another interesting conversation. On Wednesday, we want to conduct an exercise and hope this whole North will get strength, will not get strength, hoping that it can really, we want to see the strength of people. So Wednesday, we'll conduct an exercise right here for you on this radio. Thanks to all of you for following, and it has been a wonderful time. Harris, we got to wrap up.
Yeah, definitely, Paco, we got to wrap up, and there are a lot of things we're going to look at on Wednesday as well, like you mentioned. Perhaps we hope we can work out modalities if we get everything in time. Perhaps we'll conduct our strength for Nima itself. Perhaps maybe for the state of Uganda who can do that, and to understand as a stand who owns some part of Nima. And so this whole thing about I'm the boss will be done. But until then, Wednesday, yeah, we're going to be again on Wednesday.
Okay. So to them, thanks for being with us. My name is Aporin Parker. Harris Bailey Ben here. Join us on Wednesday. We'll be here with another fresh edition. Thanks to the management. Up next, coming up, is the news. So then, have yourselves a wonderful time for now, and bye-bye.